for those of you who don't know, I'm assuming everyone knows it's been pretty much all over the news the last few days. Rashee Rice, a car that was assigned to Rashee Rice, a rental car that was assigned to him, was crashed in Dallas Saturday around 6:00 p.m. There's video of Rashee Rice. Well, at the time, we didn't know who it was. There's 3 people get out of the car and walk away from the scene. And Sunday morning, like Dallas PD is looking for Rashee Rice. And then today we find TMZ releases photos of Rashee Rice with his friends before the crash happened. And you see the shirt that Rashee Rice is wearing is the same shirt as one of the people who was leaving the scene Saturday night. So that's where it stands. And we have some audio from Chiefs President Mark Donovan, who talked about it. It's more like didn't really say much on it, but nonetheless, it's something that we'll play right now, and then we'll show Rashee's statement on everything. So,
okay.
Here we go.
Let you go. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. I know the legal process is what it is right now. Is there anything you can share with fans on this Rashee Rice situation that we're all monitoring and looking at right now?
Yeah, I think that in all these situations, you have to wait until you have all the facts. And frankly, we don't have all the facts at this point. The one comforting fact that we do have is that there was a multi-car crash in Texas and in Dallas. And fortunately, it doesn't appear that anyone was hurt. And we should be grateful for that. We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll gather the facts, and then we'll react accordingly.
So that was Chiefs President Mark Donovan on kind of giving his little tidbit there. Obviously, we know a lot of these guys don't like to comment on anything, obviously, until we know more about it. But this is Rashee's statement from his attorney today. On behalf of Rashee Rice, his thoughts are with everyone impacted by the automobile accident on Saturday. Rashee is cooperating with local authorities and will take all necessary steps to address the situation responsibly. Any and all requests for comment can be directed to his attorney, Mr. Royce West of West & Associates, LLP. So that is where everything stands right now. JD, obviously, we're still putting things together here. Chiefs Kingdom, for much less, we see Chiefs Kingdom go nuts about a lot of different other things. So obviously, they're going nuts about this. I had people comment on some of our videos yesterday. They had nothing to do with Rashee Rice, saying we need to cut him. And it's like, okay, we don't know anything as of right now. And then you have some people online. Our friend Lance, he got killed today in a tweet saying the longer Rashee Rice doesn't say anything, the more guilty he is. So there's a lot of different nuggets and a lot of things people are being said about this. He's a young guy. Mistakes happen. Accidents happen. And I think, you and I are both one who, we're both the same type of people when it comes to giving people second chances. It's like, we're all young and dumb once. We've all made mistakes in our life, some smaller than others. But, to say, he needs to go or whatever, it's like, it's ridiculous. It's overreactions upon overreactions. But JD, what are your thoughts on when you first heard about this, and what are your thoughts as right now as things continue to unfold on the whole thing?
Well, I tell you this, and part of what I wanted to do, I wanted to refrain from really making statements about anything, because everything right now is just kind of speculation. None of us really know, like you said, all the details until everything comes out. We get, of course, little video here, pictures over here, people trying to put the pieces together. And I'll just say it's just unfortunate this entire thing has happened. Okay. And thankful that nobody did get hurt, whoever was involved in this whole thing, right? Ordeal. But the thing is, if when it all comes out, they'll handle it accordingly. I think with this statement that the attorney's doing is he's just making sure he's representing Rashee like he should, right? And I think everybody tries to, give their opinion about things, which is fine. You give your opinion about a lot of different things, whether it be people that might be involved in car wrecks and say, hey, man, this kid is being irresponsible, what he did. We don't even know if he was driving, okay? We see him coming out the door. We don't know if he was the one that was driving. All right. Whoever it was, whoever it was, I think the bad taste, the bad decision is to leave the cars and not really stay there to deal with it at all. I can't really tell from the pictures if that was Rashee Rice or not. I mean, it kind of looked like him. I don't know. They say the picture, well, his shirt, in the photo, I mean, it kind of looked like Rashee, but I don't know. Like in the other picture that he had, I don't know Rashee like that to just like put my eyes on. Like, oh yeah, that's him for sure. Don't know that. But this entire process, man, is going to be lengthy. We'll let them do their investigation. Let them do the police work. Okay. And so however they hash everything out is going to be within them to do that. Now, I'll say this, because I've seen a lot of different people talk about, Rashee Rice, call him all different names, irresponsibility and all that. Yeah, with, certain acts that people have can be irresponsible. Oh, he's thrown his life away. Look, we don't know whatever it is. So even if he's involved, okay, there is a maturation process, okay, that people go through, men and women both. I think I was talking to some of my boys, like, man, I remember when I was 20, 21 years old. I don't know how old was Rashee, 21, 22, something like that.
Probably around there, yeah.
Yeah. And, you do stupid things. Things do happen, okay, that are unfortunate. We don't quite make all the best decisions. My son is, he's 18 years old, my youngest. And I said, you know what, with you all, y'all don't think things through in the future. Y'all you don't. Okay. It's no different. I said, the thing is, we just happen to catch this thing right here on video. That's the thing about it. If all our lives were put out here on video, what we did when we were 22, 23 years old, I'm sure there's going to be a whole lot of embarrassing things that everybody would have. Okay. There's going to be some stupid things that we did, and we probably didn't get caught in doing it. Yeah. And those things are irresponsible. They are. We understand that. And so when you do say that, yeah, hindsight is 2020. Okay. At the time when you're doing it, you don't think things are going to happen, right? When people are being reckless, we see it all the time, videos at different people. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's older people who are 50, 60 years old and still making mistakes, doing boneheaded things. We know this. We see it all the time. It's the way of the world, right? Doesn't excuse it at all. We're not excusing anything. We're not excusing anybody's actions for what they did. Hopefully, whatever happens, they be held responsible for it, because that is important. That somebody, faces the music, take the responsibility. But also, too, we got to understand, look, it doesn't matter how much money you make. Doesn't matter what job you have. I said, people make mistakes with no money. So you give somebody that may have a whole lot of money and resources, it ain't going to be no different. Nobody's immune to these things and making mistakes. None of us. Can you imagine this? I was saying, I thank God. I thank God every day for the things I didn't happen to me, making some of the stupid mistakes. I said, I don't have enough fingers and toes, Marcus. I don't think me and you both, the mistakes I made, they're getting caught. And just when you look at it, like, man, that's a boneheaded decision I just made. It was stupid. It was stupid, right? So just saying that, whether it's Rashee or these other guys, whoever it was, okay? But I'm just saying, man, when people get into this like this mudslinging, right, and throwing, and I've seen some absolutely like really racist things online that's being said, right? And that's where sometimes you start seeing some things come out of people, okay, that probably not at their best, okay? And these guys too was not at their best when these things happen, all right? So we everything has to be done better. We got to give it some time for everything to come out. Everybody wants to be the first one to come and say something. Well, what happened? Everybody got the insight of those things. Nobody knows. Nobody really knows. Only one that knows is the ones that was in the car and, them telling the truth. Now, obviously, you say different films, different cameras, and all those different things. Hey, man, they'll take care of it. They'll take care of it. And I think that's the maturation process, too, to have a conversation responsibly when you talk about these things. it's an in-depth conversation that people need to have, right? So a level of grace, like you said, we don't mind giving second chances. If this is something that he is a part of and would drop, then we'll say, from our, humble opinion, like, hey man, you just got to take what was given with, the bed that you that you did with him, because I think it's just a lot there. It's just a lot there. So yeah, you're right. It is speculation. So that's what
and also too, like we talk about, he's 23 years old, and it's like young guy, and people always say like, and now you say hindsight 2020, but like people always have these, whether it's like car crash or whatever it is, or like a time where someone goes to a bank and you happen to be in that bank. It's like, oh, I would have done this and I would have done that. It's like, oh, okay. But in that moment of panic, you don't really know. Obviously, we say, he shouldn't have fled the scene. Yeah, he shouldn't have. Now it's a hit and run, and then it becomes a bigger thing. Like, oh, Dallas police is looking for him. Then it becomes a whole big thing, right? Like it's some search for Rashee Rice, and it's like, we could say that like what he should have done. But it's like he's a young guy who's panicking. He's thinking about his NFL career, like, oh man, it's over. I need to get out of here, like kind of thing. Like we don't know, So it's like there's a lot of things going through his head, and we've all made boneheaded decisions, and small ones, big one. We've all been there. We've all been young and dumb. And obviously, it's part of the maturation process, and hopefully, obviously we don't know what happened, right? We don't know. We just know that the car was rented out to him, it crashed, and he allegedly walked off. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, it's a maturation process, and hopefully it's something that he can learn from. And people who are out here saying dumb stuff on the internet of trying to I don't know what they're trying to accomplish by saying what they're saying about Rashee Rice and his friends, that like hopefully it's a learning process for them too as well. Like to not jump down someone's throat at their lowest at their lowest point. So.
Well, then it also too, when they say in certain things, it reveals character, right? So if this comes out some certain character, and people, these things don't always bring the best out of people, okay? And so people are always going to have an opinion about it. And to me, this is the way of the world. People are going to have their opinions about certain things like that. My thing is when it does come out, and because I think when it was saying was he driving this and that, and then all of a sudden they couldn't find him. In my head, I'm like, well, shoot, let's just make sure he's all right, right? Because then when your head, you start thinking, well, shoot, maybe something else is going on. Okay, what else is happening? Before everything, the pictures and stuff come out. So, and look, the lawyer is going to say, just from this statement alone, he's going to protect Rashee and say, look, we're going to make sure we get our statement correct. We got to make sure that we talk to the Chiefs. We're going to talk to the police. They're fully cooperating. They're going to do it on their time. It ain't going to be on our time, the fans' time, because everybody wants to know. So that's the thing about it. It's going to be on their time. And sometimes these investigations take a long time. Get everybody's perspective about everything that came out. And so we just hope for the best through all these things. And so we'll revisit it when these things do come out, when everything hits the light, when everything gets shined. So my thing is I just ask everybody to hold their horses, right? Give it some time. We can have speculation all we want to, but probably it's easy for us just kind of sit on our hands and just kind of wait and see what comes about it, right?
Yeah. And he came out, and based on one of the videos that I saw, was he came out on the passenger side. So I think Javi Maralou is asking, is he driving? No one knows if he's driving. The car was right down his name, and based on the local news report from Kansas City, is apparently under that company's guidelines, whoever rents out the car is the only one who's supposed to be driving. But based on the video, I think he comes out the passenger side. So, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it doesn't just because you rent a car from Enterprise doesn't mean you're the only one that has to drive it, right? Your significant other could drive it, or a friend could drive a car, but just based on that based on the document, the black and white, the print of it, it's only he's supposed to be driving the car. So
I don't know. Some people adhere to the rules. Sometimes, in situations you might like, oh, okay, well, go ahead and drive it. It's not a big deal. If you got insurance, you try to take care of it. We know these things do happen. We know these things do happen.
And the safety aspect, what you were talking about, JD, like I think that's obviously the situation is a horrible situation, right? The hit and run aspect, driving a car at high speeds on the highway at 6 o'clock, it's terrible. But at the end of the day, like his safety is a big thing. And I'll tell a personal story for myself. My senior year of high school, I totaled two cars. One, it was raining that day. I was driving and I was turning left. I kind of got hydroplaned onto a fire hydrant. Didn't brake. I just kind of just went. I wasn't speeding. Didn't brake. I got hydroplaned onto a fire hydrant. Yeah. A couple months later, I was not texting and driving. I was fixing my hair on the way to school. I nailed this one of my classmates' cars from behind. Instantly, the car like started to heat up and like total both of them. But because I was under the age of 18, I had to go to court for them. I didn't get ticketed for any of them. But the judge told me this when I was going to get like whatever, not sentence, but they were going to tell me to go to driving class or whatever. The woman just said, like, at the end of the day, like the judge, she was like, you're a young person, and like the fact that you've had two different accidents, it's like I could sentence you to doing 50 hours of driving lessons and stuff. But at the end of the day, like your mom, because my mom was with me, she was like, that person cares about you, and you want to be able to go out and drive on your own without having to worry about you getting into an accident, because your safety at the end of the day, it's what matters. Forget the tickets and all that other stuff. It's your own safety. And like, that's the thing. It's like Rashee Rice, his safety, the other people on the road safety, that's the stuff that matters. And luckily, based on what we're hearing, no one was hurt badly. Right. So like, that's the first and foremost. And it's just it's just an unfortunate situation, but the health and safety at the end of the day, that could have gone so wrong, where someone could have been critical condition. No one did, thankfully, but that could have gone so wrong, but it didn't. But at the end of the day, I think that's the one thing he's got to come away with, is the fact that like I could have really hurt myself, hurt somebody else. And I think someone mentioned the Henry Ruggs situation. That's another thing. It's like that for every player, when they saw that situation, that should be something that everyone thinks about, is that how badly that went wrong. And that could happen to anybody, and thankfully it didn't happen here.
Well, see, then everybody says you should think about the Henry Ruggs situation, and sometimes people don't learn from other people's, issues, and maybe you're not cognizant of those things before things happen, because if this happens, whoever it was, okay, and we're not saying it's Rashee, whoever it is that's doing the racing and whatnot, they get away with it, they get home safely, no harm, no foul, right? Some crazy young dudes acting wild, whatever. The thing is, the lesson has to be learned, because, regardless even if Rashee was involved with this or not, and it was his friends that was driving the car or whatever, there's still a lesson there, okay, based off of this unfortunate situation that happened. And so part of it is, there's an air responsibility, okay, and accountability that you have to have, all right? And nothing's wrong with that. You have to have it. You got to think ahead. You got to think it through. As hard as it is, like I said, nobody thinks about this. We see tons of times people, look, we've been to bars. We've seen people drive drunk. We've seen people leave out of bars stumbling. There's a lot of different ways that people can get caught up in situations, okay? So I don't think anybody's pious, and shouldn't be, in a way that, like, we understand that these things do happen, and nobody is excusing bad behavior, as we never should. Okay, hopefully a lesson is learned from this, whether it be him or his friends or whoever else was involved. Okay, that more people could have got hurt, or people could have got even worse than that, and putting things in jeopardy. And so that, I think you really have to go there with it and understand that sometimes there is a wake up call. Sometimes you don't want to learn these lessons, and it's always a hard lesson to learn when things do happen like this. But hopefully moving forward, it is something that he will take into account, regardless of whatever it is, and then, learn from it. And so let me see what they say in the chat. The bottom line is he left the scene of an accident if he was driving the car. If that's the case, the Chiefs will cut him. I don't know. Let's just say that's the scenario, okay? And we don't know if it is or not, Rick. We don't know if it is or not, okay? If that is a scenario, we don't know what the Chiefs will do. We don't know that, okay? Because it could be saying, the guy panicked. Maybe the dude did something that was, he shouldn't have been doing, okay? And at the time when he's not thinking, obviously you're not thinking, you know, when you get into accident, then all of a sudden you're definitely not thinking because you're like, oh shoot, what's going on? What do I do? Right? And people have been caught in the situation, like something happens, like you're just out of your mind. You don't know how to respond to these things. You know, it ain't like some hasn't, you know, left the scene of an accident. Happen all the time. People hit. Shoot, I had a joker hit me one time, man, up here. Hit me in the back of the car. Not hit me, but like hit my car. Dipped off. I had to go drive to catch this joker. Caught him. Yeah, caught him. Can I say, man, what are you doing? It's like, oh man, you know, I'm sorry, but you know, and he's, you know, apologetic and whatnot. And I'm sitting there looking at him. He's like, man, I don't need to be in charge. I said, man, you need to get off the road. Seriously, you need to get off the road. If you know what's going on, you get off the road. So he wasn't drunk, anything like that, right? Because I'm looking at him. I kind of walked up on him, you know, and he you know, kind of stopped and put his hands up. You know, I wasn't really trying to, you know, I'm in my car, he's in his car. And I'm just kind of like, man, look, I said, you need to go straight home. All right. You've been drinking? I asked him, you been drinking? He's like, no, I've been drinking. I don't know if he's been drinking or not. Didn't look like he was inebriated or anything like that. But I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, you know, this joker's just out here, you know, hitting people. And we know now phones and all these different things. Shoot, how many of us, I do this on a daily. When I'm driving, when I look over to the car to my left or to my right, how many people like this on their phones driving? How many people we see on their car, like you said, fixing my hair in the morning or reading the paper and eating and all that? I'm sure a lot of us are guilty. I'm sure a lot of us are guilty. Are anybody's going to go like this? Raise your hand like, yeah, I'm guilty of that. These things happen. That's me being reckless. That's reckless. So as much as we want to get on Rashee Rice, if you're as reckless as that, of looking on your phone anytime you're driving, call yourself out on it.
Yeah.
Call yourself out on it. Okay. So that's why I was saying, man, let's not be so benevolent and so pious that, you know, we act like we never did anything wrong. Like I said, we're not excusing the bad behavior because that's not what it is. Okay. We're not saying it at all. But we got to be real with ourselves also, too, that we put things in jeopardy and other people in jeopardy when we're not doing the things we're supposed to do. So that's all I had to say, man. I'm going to leave it at that.
The holier than thou mindset's never a good way to go.
Now, if you want to use holier than thou, use grace if you want to do anything. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, send some grace his way. All right. You know, pray for him if you want to do that. Pray for him. They may, you know, get better in these things and then he's okay. And then hopefully, you know, he's able to move past this thing, whatever it is, whether it's lending your car out to somebody you're driving or whatever it is. That's what's important.
Ahmed Brown, appreciate the contribution, brother. This is what happens with winners. Everything that goes wrong with the Chiefs will be amplified. Look how the world turned on the Patriots the more they kept winning. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, if somebody cuts their finger, they're going to bring it up. And that's what I've seen a lot of. You know, that was kind of the crazy part. Because some of the comments I was seeing was just from
other fan bases. Yeah, it was really odd. Really odd.
I'm like, how do you cheer for somebody's downfall? You know what I'm saying? Over a football. Because you don't like the Chiefs. Is that where you are? What about the human element? You know, for your fellow man. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, having some heart and some empathy. And yeah, we could get on people about certain things and, you know, we can, you know, say that, but daggone. Just because you don't like the Chiefs, oh, he's a dirt bag and all these. Come on, man. Like, for real. That's,
yeah.
I can't stand things like that. To me, that's the crazy part of it. Like, if you're so beholden to your team that you're looking for another team's downfall for this person, then something's wrong with you, buddy. Okay? Something is really wrong with you. Yeah. Right? So.
Yeah, I saw comments like the Devil's Magic is wearing off with Kansas City now. It's like, wait, what? The Devil's Magic? I mean, it's like, and then yeah, all these people from like other teams' fan bases like posting videos like people dancing, like me when I heard about this news, and it's like people dancing like little gifs or like videos of people dancing in celebratory fashion because this news. It was just really odd, and yes, what happened is awful.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, but what happened in itself was awful. But then on top of that, you have people like going online, like celebrating it, like our team won like a championship game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy. Donna said, "Let those without seeing cast the first stone." Amen. Ricky said, "I bet the Chiefs take a wide receiver in the first round." We thought we was going to take a wide receiver in the first round anyway.
Yeah,
So,
that was my initial thoughts on it. It's like if there was any doubt before, because we don't know what's going to happen with the situation. He could be suspended, may not be. I don't know. But like, I think it solidifies that we are going to draft a receiver first round. I think they may even draft another guy. And also, too, and this is something that I'm curious to hear your thoughts on, JD. Like, we've talked about having the veteran presence in the wide receiver room. And obviously, we don't know what would happen with Rashee this weekend, but
yeah,
there's lack of a veteran presence in that locker room. And I think, if anything, this could be the kind of the tipping point to say, hey, like, let's bring in a guy who's been there, who's been around the block, as far as in the NFL, who could bestow some wisdom on the younger guys. Rashee's 23, still a young guy. I think that's might actually bode well for them, maybe signing a veteran guy to kind of be that voice of wisdom for the young guys. And I'll top of the guy.
No, absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. To me, that should be done. And that's part of it, right? It's like teaching you how to be a pro, what you look out for, how you're supposed to move, how you're supposed to carry yourself. All those things matter. And so when you do have more of those voices to you, hopefully they seep in even more. I'm not saying he's not getting that at home or whatever like that. I'm just saying, like, the more you have somebody around that presence, is somewhat of a guide that you have, right? And so they, if somebody sees you doing maybe something that is maybe not be as, as delectable as you should, right? They can correct you, right? And bring you over like, hey man, come on, let me talk to you real quick, young fella, right? I had that in Philly. Did it keep me away from doing stupid things? No, but it kept me away from doing some stupid things. You know what I mean? No, sir. And it did. Like like, okay, like, because maybe some things I didn't see. Because when you were in your 20s, man, you think you're invincible, right? That's what you feel. 18 to 20, ain't nothing can touch you, ain't nothing can hurt you. And so, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess, we'll update you guys as we get more information on this. It's going to be an evolving process. So we'll be seeing how things kind of develop in the next few days. All this stuff kind of came out within the last few hours. So, we'll keep you updated on our midweek show. Hopefully more stuff comes out on it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.